Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie Wilson, and this is my senior capstone. It's called Catching Up. Here's a picture of me and my doggies, Blitz and Pig. Piglet is the full name. So let's start with an icebreaker. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I personally consider myself an antisocial extrovert. I like being around people and I get my energy from other people, but I also need my alone time. Today, I will inform you about who I am through my visual portfolio. I interviewed with Jordan Stalker, explained how 5 of my liberal arts classes have impacted me, and I'll show you my unique creative project that showcases my people skills and communication skills. I thought that the best way to express myself during this time was through communication and media, which also happens to be my major. So I decided to put my outgoing personality to the test and interview strangers off the streets of what? Our hometown, Chicago. Those are the links. That's the website. It's the Cubs colors because, Chicago. So, question time. I interviewed my professor, Jordan Stalker. I went to 2 of his classes. He's one of my favorite teachers. And the interview was about an hour long. It went by a lot faster than I thought. And I basically just, had a candid conversation with him, and it went over really well. These are some of the questions. How do you handle failure? And he said he doesn't really consider failure the end. He more so considers it, a mistake that you learn from. And when I asked him if he ever had a negative experience with somebody, he gave me as an example. Because I guess, I wasn't the most engaged student when I first took his class, but then he said he noticed immense improvements as time went on. So yeah, I mean, I would like to think that I improved, but he said so too. And he said the worst thing that he could do was go ahead with a relationship, sexual, romantic, whatever, with a student or somebody below him, because that is an improper balance of power and just not appropriate, and it would be taking an advantage. So I got all the juice in the interview. So yeah, that's Jordan, Professor Stalker. I didn't face a lot of challenges interviewing him. The Wi-Fi was pretty stable, and I didn't do it over Zoom. I did it over FaceTime. I benefited because I learned that there's no such thing as failure, only giving up. I was surprised to find out how big of a role his Buddhist faith played in his life, because I didn't think he was religious at all. And I thought I read somewhere that he was, kind of grew up making fun of people who are super religious or like religious at all, and that his family didn't really talk about that kind of thing. So that was surprising. I was also vaguely surprised by his niche music taste, because I know that he doesn't like Mac Miller because, appropriation and everything. But I, there were just names that I can't even remember because they were so out there, but like they're local and it's cool, you know. One of them is queer and POC, so you know, represent, I guess. Pretty picture. Some memorable classes. Okay. Um, one of the classes that I really loved was my culture class at Columbia College, Chicago. I really loved the teacher. She was super funny and her style was amazing. The teaching style, her, yeah, her teaching style. Her clothes style was all right. Yeah, she really pushed me to my limits. And the coursework was very thick and dense, but also very interesting. The second class that really impacted me the most, I would say, it's a DePaul class, and it's Jordan Stocker's class. It was my intercultural communications course, and that was I didn't really know what it was. It was a requirement, but I ended up really enjoying it and just kind of learning how to talk to different people. You know, like I always try and be mindful of the way I speak to people in general. But this really helped me like kind of cross some of those lines um, a bit smoother and just know some more of the general rules. The third class is my English 102 course because that taught me how to write a research paper and like a real one, like published in a magazine type of paper. And that I reference that like every day because I want to be a writer. I am a writer. And yeah, I literally like every time for this project, like I was like, okay, what did I do? I referenced that paper that I wrote in English 102 because there was APA. I had to interview somebody. I could only use like 3 popular sources or mainstream sources. I had to get a bunch of scholarly articles together, trips to the library, which, you know, I've been to the library, but, you know, this really required like a dive into the bookshelves or whatever, how like I was a true bookworm at that point. And yeah, so that was very interesting. The fourth class that left a lasting impression was my music business class because I'm obsessed with music and stand culture. And so this class really helped me learn about the things that I love. And so I was super engaged. I took like 3 other business music classes, different ones, but yeah, this was the first one. And my fifth and final class is my Capstone and Communications class because I didn't know this was a requirement. So I didn't really know what to expect. And I read the description and it was like, okay, you know, this could be hit or miss. But I ended up being really good at it, but still being challenged. And yeah, like, no, it like really made me feel like I felt inspired in this class. And like, I just think that it's a great, like, I know what I want to do now, you know, aside from writing. Like, it's just really cool. And it gave me the idea to do the street interviews. And yeah, I'm happy I took this capstone um, because it really fed my soul. That's classroom. I decided that the best way to showcase my skills and knowledge would be to create a documentary styled short film. I wanted to make something like this to prove that we, people in society, specifically America, have more in common than we've been trained to think, and that a healthy dialogue is the start of the road to redemption. Because if we just look at our phones or just sit in a corner or just like talk about, differing politics all the time, then of course we're going to feel separated. But if we talk to each other about like dreams and music and what makes you laugh and what inspires you, that's like a completely different ball game. And we start to see what we have in common rather than what we don't. And so I thought that now, especially as the world is opening back up and people have enough anxiety interacting with one another, that this was a really important time to do that. And I felt like I really benefited from that too, because I've been craving people. That's a picture of me, but it's also kind of symbolic because it's, it's in the bean and it's a reflection. So it's self-reflection, another key element of life. And I would say communication, because it's hard to communicate with people if you can't communicate with yourself. This is my post-graduation checklist. I didn't want to make it super corny because, of course I want to find love and all that other stuff. But I really want to do a big stage production and record some more music. Like, I want to give my pop star dreams a chance, a real chance. I would like to travel the world by myself, maybe meeting up with some friends along the way, but I feel like that's really important, is to do stuff for yourself by yourself. Not all the time, but you should experience some things on your own. And I would like to get to the root of my anxiety and blossom into the person I was always destined to become. A little sap for you. But yeah. And obviously I would also like to become successful in my career of choice, but I kind of feel like that's in the destined to become. But yeah. And before I go, I want to thank everyone that has helped me along the way. I'll never forget the ones that supported me and helped me through this experience. It started off on a really rocky road, and I feel like I'm in a much better space now. I've still got a long way to go, but I've made tremendous strides, and I couldn't have done it without my support system. So thank you. I'll forever be grateful. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. And I will see you on the other side. Bye.